tight some more. There you go. Keep going. Come on, you wouldn't let down the little children. Look at their faces. They haven't eaten in weeks. Come on. Okay, last one. But just to point out that this is a rather unplugged experience. You know, if you are interested in the CD, it's got all the band and all the drums there and stuff like that. It's all sort of done entirely by myself there, so I don't know if that's a good point or a bad point. But this one's a song called George.
George don't wanna play with me, 'cause when I wanna take my ball, then he takes over my country.
I'm Canadian, by the way.
I don't wanna play with George, and George don't wanna play with me, 'cause I got a girlfriend from Iran whose daddy comes from North Korea. As I look into his eyes that stare a childlike surprise, a loaded pun would surely set us free. Just because I take the piss, it don't make me no terrorist. It's really plain for any fool to see. I don't wanna play with George. He lectures me on democracy. Hiding from the days when he was reeling in the beers, while other kids would die for Uncle Sam. But now he's got the Bible, he can wipe away the jeers, 'cause everything's gone according to plan. George. I don't wanna play with George, and George don't wanna play with me, 'cause when I wanna go back home, he says he'll come and set me free. As I look into his eyes that stare a childlike surprise, a loaded pun would surely set us free. Just because I take the piss, don't make me no terrorist. It's really plain for any fool to see. George, 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 George. George, 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 George. Oh, George. Oh, George.
Getting warmer, getting hot. Ladies and gentlemen, be cooling.